Hello, everybody, and welcome to this AFC South show, number 55. I'm your host, Curtis Brown, and with me, as always, Blake Bellamy.
Sir.
Blake, how you doing, brother?
Oh man, I could be better. 0-1 hurts, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's not quite as indifferent as 0-1, but
Yeah,
it,
I think I'd rather lose, man. I don't think I want to tie, man. That just feels weird. Plus,
I
the
mean,
record so long.
yeah, but with the tie with the Colts now, your prediction of them going 500 is like definitely possible.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, silver linings.
Because I think
They're,
we
they're,
mentioned that. Because I was like, yeah, they'll probably be around 500. You're like, oh, what about a tie? Oh, it can't be with a tie. Hey, it happened now.
hmm Yeah,
Spoke it into existence.
that's all we need sometimes. But if you're new here, go ahead, like and subscribe. We have a channel goal of 100 new subs by the end of September. We're at 52. We got +1 since the last episode. Let's have a like goal on this one. Let's get 5 likes. 5 likes, and we're trying to be more consistent about dropping videos. So
Oh,
5 likes, and hopefully we can get Thursday, God willing. But week 1 is in the books, with the exception of the Monday night game that doesn't really affect us. Nobody won, not a single game.
It's the worst division.
At least in week 1 for sure.
Yeah, right now we're the worst division.
Um, Jaguars. Okay, so first highlight: Trayvon Walker looks
He's
good.
Yeah,
All right,
we
so
were
we're gonna
wrong.
eat our words here.
Yeah.
In our words, week 1 at least. Trayvon Walker looks very, very talented.
Yeah, he's looked great in preseason. It's carrying over the regular season, which is exactly what they wanted. So, good job, Trayvon Walker. And now might be some competition when we play against the Jaguars.
Right. And with his supposed development or whatever, then that means that the opposite side, Josh Allen, should be free to get some more pressures.
Yep.
And they could have another Saxonville brewing. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Walker had 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, a pass deflection, and an interception. So
yeah, he's a game record.
Yeah, that kid could play. I don't know what it was, but there was something about edge rushers intercepting passes week 1. I watched TJ Watt do it against the Bengals. Trayvon Walker did it. Jerry Hughes did it to the Colts. Matt Ryan basically just threw it right to him.
Colts quarterbacks are known for throwing interceptions right to the players. I remember Carson Wentz did it like 3 times last year. It's like, all right,
Sweet.
wrong team, but good pass.
And then on to my second note for the Jags and the Commanders. I liked a couple things out of the team. They got down, but they kept digging, and actually made the entire game vastly more competitive than it probably could have been or should have been. I think the Washington Commanders had like a 14-6 lead at some point, maybe 14-3, and I just kind of expected the Jags to just kind of roll over at that point.
Yeah, it was 14-3 at halftime. They weren't looking great. But yeah, they show a lot of resilience. This is week 1, so it's no overreaction, but they looked more competitive than last year.
Yeah.
There was actually some highlights. Yeah, as you mentioned, the defense, I mean, it was a one-man wrecking show, but yeah, it's going to free up other players, and people are going to avoid running the football toward Trayvon Walker's side. So there's some good things that did happen in Jacksonville.
Absolutely. Now, maybe that changes when he starts playing better offensive lines. I don't know, but we'll see. My next note was that Lawrence and the O-line need time to develop and gel. So the offensive line for the Jacksonville Jaguars is pretty young. You got a rookie center, second or third year player in Ben Barch playing left guard. They've got an overpaid left tackle in Cam Robinson.
Yeah, he didn't look good either.
No.
He had a couple false starts, I believe, or a hold. He was penalized a couple times, and it was just at bad times.
That's typically the mark of a bad team and bad coaching. But um, and then on the right side, I think I heard that they were shopping their right tackle, Taylor.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. I can't remember where that
I
was.
feel like everyone should be on, besides probably Walker. I think everyone's in the trading block.
And Allen probably.
Yeah, and probably Allen. I mean, theoretically, I guess like ETN and maybe Lawrence, but Lawrence, I don't see it, man. We were talking for the show, man. I just don't see it with him. He's just not. He just doesn't have that in him. He does not look like an NFL quarterback. I didn't think he was a great college quarterback. I think if he was in the SEC, think he probably would have been a mid-round draft pick.
Maybe. But one thing for sure is that he looks better than he did with Urban Meyer. So
I mean,
there
yeah.
is there is. It's a definite improvement. Like I know we like
yeah,
I
Urban
watched
Meyer,
this
that was
game.
such a disaster.
That's
Man.
what I'm saying. Like we gotta remember that Trevor Lawrence has to like relearn the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So like his entire first year was just filled with bullshit and bad advice, and what to do in all these situations. So now he has to relearn. He's basically in his second rookie season. So I'm kind of grading on a curve with Trevor, but 57% completion percentage is not where you want to be at. You really want to be at 60 or higher. 65 is like league average right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
I did like the play. I don't know if it is Doug Peterson calling the plays like he did in Philadelphia, but the plays didn't look great. For at least I didn't watch the whole game. I was watching a lot of it, like between flipping between a few games, and I just didn't see it. I think the personnel was wrong. I think they should have put in ETN more. He only had like 4 carries. He had like 48 yards. So it's like, all right, man, like let's keep feeding him. Let's see what we got here, and they just weren't doing that.
I agree. I think ETN needs to be mixed in a little bit more, but I think they got down early and had to change what they were doing.
Yeah, and Robinson, he did look good. I mean, I'm not saying like take away carries from him, but just like definitely add more of ETN. I think he was ready to go. He could have done something good, but he didn't really have a chance.
No, you're right. But again, to your point, James Robinson was like 12 carries for 66 yards. That's a 5-yard clip. You can't be mad at that. So
yeah, exactly.
And that was actually my next point, was that James Robinson is healthy, and ETN is looking solid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't have 4 carries for 47 yards if you're not.
Yeah, you don't accidentally do that. Like
no. So I think there is some plus side for this Jags team, some things to look forward to. There will be some growth. There are going to be some pains.
Yeah, they might win 5 games this year.
They might.
I say it in a good way, like because I mean they only won 2 last year and they won the year before, so like I definitely do see some improvement with this team.
Yeah,
maybe in a couple of years. I still don't believe in their quarterback, so that's why I'm not giving them a winning record, even best case scenario. But Kirk looked better than I expected. I mean, Kirk was never a bad player. He's just been talked crap about just because of his contract.
Yeah. And he had a really solid day.
He had a really solid day.
6 for 117. Zay Jones was 6 for 65.
I like that Zay Jones pickup because he looked great in the Raiders. So I've always liked Zay Jones. He just never really has a chance either. He just kind of is around. He's like kind of a backup option, but the guy can play.
Yeah, quick. I mean, I think they're trying to almost do what Caserio has done, and try to find guys who haven't gotten a chance to play much on other teams, and see if they've got something or not.
Yeah.
And obviously some of those guys are going to hit and some are not, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Next week the Jags are playing Indianapolis, so there's Indianapolis is going to be. I don't even know how they're going to take that. They still didn't win their opening season game, so the streak continues. But that should be an interesting matchup. It's in Jacksonville, where Indy usually can't win. So
I think I'm going to go Jacksonville already. I know we haven't done our picks for the week, but I might lean toward Jacksonville.
I mean, it is in Jacksonville, and
I think if it was in Indy, I would have picked Indy, but the fact that it's down south makes me kind of lean toward Jacksonville.
Is that South Florida?
It's North Florida, but it's south just in general.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if it's north.
Yeah, Jacksonville's like northeastern, like about 30 miles above St. Augustine. If you're familiar with St.
Okay.
Augustine.
And Tampa's like the opposite?
The opposite side, yeah.
Okay.
About the same area, though.
Okay. All right, well, let's get into your Titans and the Giants game. What do you have to say? What are your thoughts?
I'm not too tripping. I mean, it's just week one. I'm really like week one, just across the board. I give a lot of team a lot of slack. Not being just a fan, I give the Titans a little bit more slack because was basically their preseason game. Titans, we don't play preseason football. They just throw in their backups for every position for the most part, unless it's like contested, like who's going to be the starter, which is annoying. Like I've criticized Vrabel on this a lot. Like they need to play at least a drive a game or something. Like, and it showed, man. They couldn't tackle, dude, at all. Like outside Jeff Simmons and Rashad Weaver, which shout out Rashad Weaver, man. I've been talking to him up for a while. Guys, NFL start two sacks. Dude balled out. Like he was incredible. Yep. Jeff Simmons was just wrecking everything. 2 tackles for loss, fumble. Like he's all over the place. Pass deflections. Like Bud Dupree was eating. So the defensive line is great. The corners sucked, dude. Christian Fulton looked really bad. He looked really bad in preseason too. So I don't know if he just needs to get like caught up speed or what's going on with him. But he looked really good last year. I think it'll take him. It's a little while to get used to things. Rashad Penny is just going off right now. And then, what was the flag? Sorry. And then Caleb Farley, not good at football. Roger McCreary, he had to start as the rookie second rounder over Caleb Farley. And he was hit or miss, man. He got cooked a few times, but they were moving him around the slot and outside. He's a rookie. So it was like, I guess you got to give him some slack. But he did look good on some plays. The defensive side of the ball will be all right. I just think they need to learn how to tackle. And I know going against Saquon Barkley is a tough one.
That man's thighs are
tackle. Hooker looked great. He just got that 3-year, $33 million contract extension. He got an interception right at the goal line. So bravo to him. He had a great game. Kevin Byard had like 12 tackles and just was killing it. Yeah. He looked great. Zach Cunningham, David Long. David Long's impressive, man. That guy can play some football. I really don't have any complaints about the defense. You know, they gave up a lot of yards, but it was like a bunch of big chunk plays. Like they would just screw up on one assignment and they got completely exposed. It was a combination of the Giants had a really good game and they were consistent, whereas the Titans they would take a couple plays off and the Giants would expose it.
Yeah.
I know we were talking about earlier too, Saquon Barkley. If you take away his 2 biggest runs, which again he earned those, so not discrediting his great game. If you took away those 2 big runs, he only had 60 yards rushing. Yeah, so like he had that one 68-yarder and he had the other one 33 yards. So again, not discrediting because he had a great game, but take out those 2. Titans defensive rush defense actually did pretty well.
Yeah. I think when you have those longer runs, that speaks more volumes on the secondary not getting off blocks. Mm-hmm. So I think that is also because, if I'm not mistaken, on at least the 68-yard run that I'm pretty sure they ran to Fulton's side.
Yeah, they ran it left, and Fulton did a really good job chasing him down. He actually forced a fumble. Like he punched that ball, peanut punched it, and that was a great play. So I can't take that from him, but it just didn't help the team at all. I mean, the fumble went right out of bounds, and
it went forward for like 15 yards, and
they pushed it back. When that happens, they
okay.
Like, yes, I know that would have been terrible.
The
ball did go like 15
awesome.
yards. I know. I was wondering where they were going to spot it, but they spotted where the fumble happened. I was like, okay, that's good, ref.
That makes sense. From my perspective, I watched it and I tuned in. I think like right before halftime came back. Mm-hmm. So the Titans had like a 13-0 lead.
Yeah.
And
first good half. Yeah.
The first half was solid. And then it just seemed like one little thing made a ripple effect. It was just like a really big, like that Sterling Shepard touchdown in the second half for the Giants really was the first stone thrown in the comeback. Mm-hmm. And then that just made everything else seem even more possible.
for the special, I want to get into offense too, but I want to talk about special teams real quick. First off, Ryan Stonehouse, baller. He's a really good punter. Like every time he kicked it, I think it went 60 yards. Like incredible. Our punt returner, Kyle Phillips, also beast. He took his first punt like 50-something yards. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
he did have a fumble though, which was bad.
Late in the game.
Yeah, late in the game, but we did get a quick turnover. So really that fumble didn't affect the game at all, but you still don't want to see that. And then Ryan Bullock, he missed that game winner, which
Randy?
sucks. Yeah, what'd I say?
Ryan.
Oh yeah, Randy Bullock, my bad. Old Randy. He did miss that one game winner, that 47-yarder. It happens. People are saying fire him. No, don't fire him. He made 2 other good ones that game. Like, you don't want to get rid of your kicker, and he made his extra point. So I'm not worried too much about him. It sucks. You want him to make them, but we did lose to an NFC opponent at the end of the day, so like that's better when it comes to tiebreakers and such. The Titans, they haven't started 0-2 since 2012, so it's been 10 years. So I really do expect them to win on Monday Night Football next week against the Bills. Mostly because going to the offensive side of the ball, dude, Ryan Tannehill was throwing bombs, dude. Like, just darts every time. Like, every one of his incompletions were either because of penalties or a drop pass. Like, it was amazing. Like, that guy was he was on target. He was on the money, everything. He had a real command of that offense, you could tell. Derrick Henry played all right. 4 yards to carry. Did okay. He had a really bad drop, though, but he's not a receiver. I don't know why they even threw it to him. I don't like how they keep putting in Jeff Swaim. He's not good at football. He can block, but I don't understand it. He had a lot of snaps. When we have Austin Hooper, we just paid, and then Chido Okonkwo, our rookie.
Did you see that tight end handoff they did on
3rd and 1? Yeah, that was terrible. He lost 4 yards. And thank you for bringing that up, because Todd Downey, just like last year, man, he sucks, dude. He's so bad. He ruined the that Super Bowl window with the Raiders. And he's coming to Tennessee, man. He's doing the same kind of stuff, man. Like, I expect him to be gone soon. If we get 0-2 and the offense struggles, I wouldn't be shocked to see him gone and replaced with Tim Kelly, because he's breathing down his neck. I would love a Tim Kelly offense here in Nashville. But Tannehill looked great. Our receivers looked really good. I was happy to see how confident Ryan Tannehill is in our 5th-round rookie, Kyle Phillips. He had like 9 targets, 5 catches. 6 catches, 66 yards. No touchdowns. He had a drop his very first target, which is sad to see. But he bounced back. Treylon Burks is a lot more athletic than really anyone expected, especially during the training camp when they were just like torching that man.
Yeah. No, he had one catch where I think he was doing. God, what route? I can't remember what the route was, but he had a catch outside the numbers where he caught it in stride and then just turned it upfield. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, this is a lot faster than I thought he was.
Yeah, he's really quick. He didn't run a great 40, but like you watch his college film and like that dude, he's got game speed. I mean, he even he had like a 95-yard touchdown last year for Arkansas. Like the guy's got some wheels on him. Yeah. Robert Woods, he only had 1 catch, 13 yards. But he looked good. His blocking assignments, I was watching him block, and he did good. He had that veteran leadership, and it's nice to see him. I just hope there's more Treylon Burks in the future. Yeah. I'm pretty optimistic about this offense. And also noting the offensive line, no offensive lineman gave up a sack. There was 1 sack that Tannehill gave up. It was like coverage sack. It happens. It was outside the pocket, so no offensive lineman is going to get penalized for that. The O-line did great, man. Nicholas Petit-Frere on the right tackle looks the part, man. Aaron Brewer sucks at left guard. Honestly, I was like, man, let's just see what Radens can do. Because Radens can play left guard. His issue is tackle.
Well, I think one immediate upgrade that Radens brings over Aaron Brewer is the size.
Yeah, I know. Brewer's just tiny, man. He really is.
I'm bigger than Aaron Brewer.
You really are, dude. Like it's not good.
Yeah. Now for those who don't know, I'm like 6'1", 275-ish ballpark. I don't really know. I don't have a scale in my house. But, I mean, good Lord. The guy is getting moved because he's small. I'm pretty sure he's like 270 pounds and 6'1", playing guard in the NFL.
Could you imagine him going against Aaron Donald? Like,
oh,
wow. It's like I have as good of a chance.
Yeah, for real.
It's going to be rough.
Okay, so Colts, Texans. In Houston, Houston gets a 20-3 lead starting the fourth quarter. And then it ends up in a 20-20 tie. We had it, man. We had it. They had a long drive from like their own 3 at the beginning of the fourth quarter that they drove all the way down and ended up kicking a field goal. Derek Stingley had an amazing third down pass deflection to bring up the field goal. Kick the field goal, it's 20-6. Houston gets the ball, first play of the next drive. Davis Mills gets strip sacked by Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye, I think, also recovers the fumble. Like 5 plays later, Jonathan Taylor's in the end zone, and it's 13-20. And that's when I started to feel a weird feeling in my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so we got the ball back, couldn't really move it. We weren't able to do anything with the ball the last like 6 possessions we had, including overtime. But the Colts weren't able to do anything either. They got it to 20 and had an opportunity in overtime to kick a game-winning field goal, and they did kick it, and they missed it. Then Houston took over with just a little under 2 minutes left and got to the Indianapolis 47-yard line. Third down and 1. They decide to run it with Rex Burkhead, who then loses a couple yards, 4th down and 3 at the 50, and we decide to punt it, which is now the 6th most cowardly punt in all of NFL history. I can't remember where. I think that was on Reddit. I saw that, but the 6th most cowardly punt. Lovie Smith was quoted in saying that he punted there because if they didn't get it, there's a really good chance that the Colts could gain the necessary 10 yards or whatever to be in field goal position.
Yeah.
So a probable loss versus a tie. Lovie Smith went with a tie. I get it, but the aggressive football player / Madden player wants me to go for it, and I think the fans wanted that too, but we'll see how this goes. They definitely played a lot better than I thought they were going to. Jerry Hughes, as we mentioned earlier, he had 2 sacks of Matt Ryan. He also had a pass deflection and an interception that he returned 14 yards. The 35-year-old man, Houston native, balled out at his first game in a Houston Texans uniform against his old team. It's been that long, but yes, Jerry Hughes was a former Colt.
Yeah, he was drafted. No, he was drafted to the Bills, right?
No.
Was he drafted as a Colt? No, went to the Bills?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time, man.
Yeah, he's been I think this is year 13 for him.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I think he's only been with the Bills for like 6 or 7 years.
That's a long time, though.
No, you're right, but it's still like half of his career.
Yeah.
The first 3 quarters, though, the defense played phenomenally for the Texans. Matt Ryan looked old. They couldn't get the run game going very well. That doesn't mean that necessarily the running stats weren't great for Jonathan Taylor. It's just that, like, it wasn't as, like, they could get an 8-yard run, but it was never when they needed it. It was like first and 10, they'd get 8 yards, and then he'd get tackled for 1 yard loss. Bernard had a really solid shed of whoever their left tackle is, Raymond, and got him for a TFL. It was just hugely crucial. But
Raymond,
Gary Hughes is working Braden Smith all afternoon. And
I think everyone works Braden Smith a little bit, at least once a game. That offensive line, you see one of the best offensive lines in the league, and man, they might be getting down there.
Maybe.
Like Quentin Nelson, not a whole lot else other than that.
Yeah. Well, their center's pretty solid, Ryan Kelly. But
Ryan Kelly is good. You're right.
For Houston, the offensive line did really well for the first 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter just decided, hey, we're not very good. So I don't know what the hell happened there. Maybe it's just kind of like they, just fought it off as long as possible. But Davis Mills looks solid. Sometimes he needs to get the ball out of his hands a little quicker, and that's what some of those sacks are. But some of them are just, complete breakdowns. The sack that they had by Kwity Paye, he just ran free off the edge. Like clean hit, ran right into him. So there needs to be better communication on the offensive line. These are all new players, or they're just they haven't had quite the time to build the chemistry that they want. Kenyon Green ended up actually coming in on like the third or fourth drive of the game, and that's when Houston was able to start moving the football. Because Justin Britt and AJ Cann were not able to do much of anything against DeForest Buckner. So
Buckner, man, he's built different, man. That man can play some football. He's one of the only guys in that defense that really scares me.
Let's see. Defense played well until the offense couldn't help them out anymore, and that's really where you need the offense to kind of step up. But Davis is still young. He had a pretty solid game, 2 touchdowns to OJ Howard. But yeah, some things to look forward to, some positives here with Houston. Davis Mills looks improved. He has a firm handle on the offense. The only thing he needs to do is get the ball out of his hands a little quicker from time to time. The offensive line needs to gel, needs time, and I think they're still in a little bit of fluctuation. I don't think they're completely sold on the people who are out there right now. But they have a pretty solid crew. Definitely better than last year's unit, and last year's unit was an improvement over 2020. So as long as we can keep that upward movement, I'm A-okay with it. And then the Colts streak continues. So, Matt Ryan's first game, he gets 350 plus yards. Jonathan Taylor goes over 150 yards. Michael Pittman has 8 catches, 90 plus yards, and a touchdown. And it's not enough. So the streak continues. Next year, we'll figure out who could potentially be earning a W. As far as, Thursday we'll have another pod coming out in regards to the games coming on that day, and then in the coming weeks. But, Blake, do you have any closing remarks, brother?
Yes, sir. Hopefully we'll go 1-on-1.
Oh, yeah.
Fire Ty Downing. It's terrible, man. Trash.
Yeah. All right. Well, folks, thanks for watching, and be sure to be good people. And like and subscribe. Yeah. Merch link in the description. Be good people.